judge gave me 25 to life. You don't want 25 to life, son. Wake up all builders.
What up, Twist Gang? What up, Twist Squad? It's your girl, Monty 2 times up in here, and we are back with another Surviving PWI episode. Before we get to the interesting topic, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and ring the bell for future notifications to this channel. Now let's get to it. I am joined with the big, bad Royal JT.
Hey, what's good, y'all?
JT, what do we have in store for our viewers since we last spoke to them in our very first episode, being Black in College?
Quite a bit.
Quite a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, the first episode, being Black in College, it was like our first topic, and it's like our way of introducing me and Jeff to you guys and to the culture shock, which is attending a predominantly white institute as a person of color. And let's just say it's not easy. It's not easy. Am I right?
Oh, it isn't.
It isn't. Like there's the good, the bad, and the downright ugly, and we are here to point out all of them, but majority, the one that tops the most is the bad and the downright ugly. So the topic of this episode is we're gonna be talking about protesting.
Yeah.
So this is a protest episode, and protest is one of me and Jeff, but mainly Jeff's favorite subject to talk about because you know what? I'm gonna let you explain it, Mr. Protest Lover.
I love a good peaceful protest. Who doesn't?
I mean, a lot of people when they resort to violence, but yeah, nothing wrong with a peaceful protest, as Dr. King has said.
Yes.
Mm.
Speaking of this protest, I filmed our school's protest, and it was fun as hell.
Yeah, so you're probably wondering why did Jeff have filmed a protest at our school. So the backstory was prior to the protest happening, Jeff was doing a project on what was it, like Jesus Christ or
the Stations of the Cross.
Yeah, the Stations of the Cross, and there was times where he had reached out and asked, volunteers to take pictures from him, and I was one of those volunteers, and we did one. Your theme was about Black Lives Matter, right? How come you connected Black Lives Matter to the Stations of the Cross?
I guess this was still during when everything was when racial tensions were still at high back in 2021. Well, that 2020 to 2021 period. But in the main aspects of all of it, I just wanted to see, okay, let's connect Black Lives Matter to this because racial justice in general, and then I just had to find a way how each station could connect to some form of tragedy and just violence in general, and I did.
Yeah, and yeah.
Mm-hmm.
No, go ahead.
I'm not sure if that was a good answer, but for the most part, that was mainly it.
Yeah, there was some moments, during your project, from being a part of it that really spoke values, from the picture of you having the N-word drawn to your forehead. Honestly, in my opinion, that's like my favorite photo that represented because the first station or the second station, I'm not sure. It was one of the stations that involves, the judgment from others and how, Christ and, I'm not a Christian. I practice spirituality, and Jeff here, he can admit his religion if he likes to. I'm just pointing out the fact that this project, is centered around what happened to Jesus Christ and how he was, how his situation had happened. And I believe one of them was condemned in judgment, and everybody was judging him, and despite all that,
that's the first one. Jesus is condemned to death.
Yeah, and when you're condemned, it represents what happens in Black Lives Matter, and and racial justice in general, like we're all like us black folks were already condemned from birth, and that racial tension brought a very huge impact at our campus and campuses above. Like there was like it was every day there was always a story about something racist happening at school since the pandemic started. In my opinion, Jeff, and you can agree or disagree with me for this, I feel like the pandemic has showed a lot of racism throughout most others, and had them brought out more since since our old president Dickhead decided to embrace it, and it's just been hate coming out every single day. If it's not hating towards the Asian and Pacific people, it's mainly hate towards the black people, because that was mainly the top races that face hate throughout the pandemic era.
Mm-hmm.
It was unfortunate, like from the death of George Floyd to what happened towards COVID started. I feel like we face a lot of racism, and now attending school, especially attending PWI, we seen a lot. Like, don't get us started with seeing people wearing Trump 2020 hats, Make America Great Again. Jeff, weren't you classmates with somebody that was?
God. Well, you graduated with him, but
Oh God, please don't remind me. Like
yeah,
when his name got called, I ain't acknowledged him. I'm just like, okay.
yeah, I did, and yeah, it was uncomfortable sitting in class with him, but I just learned to get over. I got over it, and
But just remember that kid, okay?
yeah.
Remember that kid.
Man, imagine going.
Uh,
But let me say this. Just imagine being in a bar with him, like.
I can't imagine him either. Like, mind you, this kid, he always wears a hat, like a cowboy hat. Like he wants to be a Texan so badly.
Oh God.
And I be comparing him to Doug Dimino from Fairly Odd Parents, and then you call him a.
What?
You know exactly what you called him one time.
I don't really remember. I called him a lot of things.
Then you call him a Frank Gallagher looking ass.
He called him Frank Gallagher. Oh God. And even sometimes I feel like that's an insult to Frank Gallagher. Oof.
Yeah, why are you gonna do my boy Frank Gallagher from Shameless like that?
Well, in my defense, he is a bad father. Oh,
But at least Frank is not a racist.
true. And he's an honest asshole. Well, yeah, honest asshole.
But yeah, back to the topic at hand. Yes, like when Jeff had connected the stations towards his project, during that same time, a lot of students had faced a lot of racial discrimination, prejudice throughout campuses and our campuses in our campus as well. Like for example, I don't know if many people are familiar with this account. I'm not going to say the name because it's associated with a school that we had went to, and for discretion reasons, we're trying not to get sued. So there was a page that was created called Black at Our Predominantly White School, and it was stories after stories after stories after stories about people who face racial discrimination, and it goes all the way back from like didn't it go all the way back from like 2018, 2017?
Oh my God, tell me about it.
Like it was racism involving public safety officers. It was racism involving, teachers saying the N-word, students saying this and that. Third, one student said at a black student meeting, why is there no white student union?
That's what the KKK is.
Then there was a dog. Okay, I'm sorry. I don't disrespect the dead, but that piece of shit right there, may he rest in peace.
For real. Go to hell and let Hitler give you head.
Jeff.
What? Those two deserve each other.
Oh my God. But yes, like people like that, especially when you're attending a PWI, they're very out of pocket like that, and unfortunately, our school is one of them. And if you have a story that you like to share about your experiences at a PWI, please feel free to click on the link that's in the description. That will take you to our Google form for you to fill out an anonymous submission. Or if you want us to state your name, you can choose to not be anonymous. Again, your voice deserves to be heard. Am I right, Jeff?
Yes.
Your voice deserves to be heard. Again, we are begging you. Please click on the link in the description and share your story. Jeff and I really want to hear your story. Go ahead.
Do go on and share your truth. Don't hide your truth.
And if you didn't get a chance to see the link in the description, please feel free to click on the links to our social media. It will also be in the description. You can click in our bio. Again, your story and your voice deserves to be heard. So as the account was just getting very known out there, it was to the point that, the school couldn't ignore it. People had made like personal statements. They were going after faculty members that represented clubs and all that, and it was bad, dude.
Oh yes, God.
It was so fucking bad to the point that then like some people stepped down because of it.
Yeah, they did. Like it was getting.
Some people. Go ahead.
It was getting bad.
Yeah, these motherfuckers were getting exposed, and it was this one kid. Shout out to homeboy. He has shared he bravely shared a story about how a faculty member had pulled white tears and try and make herself look like the victim and make him look like the aggressor. And thanks to her actions, she wound up getting a mental health club shut down. Mind you, a mental health club run by students for students. She wound up getting it shut down because they said, "Oh, it feels like we're trying to be these people's the students' therapist." When in reality, it was a safe, comfortable environment where those students can feel comfortable talking to other students, because not a lot of people are comfortable talking to professionals.
Yeah.
So shout out to old Karen for getting a mental health club shut down.
Hope you like that you just fucked over some students.
And mind you, the president of the mental health club at the time was a black man.
Mm.
And a lot of people that went to these meetings were black people and Hispanic people. Like, it was mainly people of color, because we are often ignored in our own communities, and people label us as crazy when we talk about our issues. And that right there was just like, y'all going to continue to see these therapists that can legit label us however they want because they have the license for it. And mind you, as black folks, we don't really trust that.
Yeah. And how about that? How about that? We can't share. We don't feel comfortable sharing our issues, and when we try, look what happens.
It's like they want us to be against each other so bad and want us to not be together, and which leads up to, I wouldn't say infamous, I would say the famous reform chant. And Jeff, I'm gonna actually let you take the floor on this, on how the reform group chat started.
So many students were having problems on campus, and coming to our Black Student Union to address their problems. We took into consideration, but let's go to the spring of 2021. The spring of 2021, where where we're still getting complaints from students we're coming off a good Black History Month, and we're still getting complaints, and we're wondering what can we do, and then we start a group chat, and then we band together, and we say, why don't we make some noise on campus and get their attention? Am I covering it good?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, keep
Okay.
going.
Yes. So then we all sat in the group chat. We all debated on what to do. We put together a protest. We wanted to talk to the higher ups so we can collaborate and powwow. And then we got a good. Then we all sat in a Zoom meeting, agreed on what to do. We got public safety and on it and on this too, so they can we know so we everyone can be in control and keep and guide us.
Yep. And and then after that meeting, um prior to getting approved for a protest. So what Jeff had explained were tips if you're at a college, especially at a PWI, and you're relating to our stories. Here are some tips on how to stage a protest on campus without getting in trouble, because you know how colleges are nowadays. People are afraid to take accountability, so they'll try to silence you. This is how you do it the legal way. If you are thinking about staging a protest on campus, first meet with your school's higher ups and their higher ups to make sure that no one tries to mess things up. Make sure that you got an agenda, a plan on how to do this. Pick a good location, pick a good day, pick a good time. And then once you meet with the higher ups and things get approved, you are good to go, because now since they legally approve it, you cannot get in trouble for staging a protest on campus, because mind you, the campus is in their name. Now you got some schools that let you get away with staging a protest on your own, but this is us telling you the legal way, because there's a lot of schools that will try to silence you, our black brothers and sisters. So please take heed on these tips.
Who doesn't love a
Um
good protest? Am I right?
Am I right? Yes. See what I told y'all? Protest lover right here. This man eat, breathes, and sleeps protest. Jeff had attended a protest in Washington D.C. on Black Lives Matter
Yes.
Avenue.
Well, to put it short, I'm always kind of been a bit of a leftist. If I'm, I'm just saying.
Hey, nothing wrong with being a leftist. Like I'm a leftist too, but hey, I'm the type of leftist that will point out accountability for my side as well. I do both sides here. I'm not just one side. I point out
You have to
accountability as
point
well.
out both sides if you're gonna find common ground.
Exactly, but that's a conversation not everybody is ready for. Like you say one word, you say one wrong thing, next thing you know, whole World War V is
Ugh,
amongst us.
Lord.
Um, but yes. Uh, so once the group chat had happened, mind you, it started when after myself and another student, I'm gonna keep their name hidden, had came out with a story about how we were harassed by public safety, and they had added us in the group chat, and the rest was history. Next thing you know, it was just people adding multiple people from like leadership clubs, organization, their friends, faculty members, I think, and next thing you know, we all just sat down and agreed to stage a protest, and it just go on from there. Prior to that, once we had got approved and got our date, we had like the Black Student Union at the time, which was myself and Jeff and other people. We had a little make your own poster workshop, where it's though like if you don't have any supplies, this is us giving back to you for making your voice heard. And we had a decent amount of people come in, make posters for the protest, because the protest was literally the next day. And the build up from it was just like, it was like a scene out of a
Yeah,
movie, right?
I ain't gonna lie. I ain't gonna lie, because I had class that day, and I still had to go to class. I brought my whole class to that protest, and it was bomb. But like I said, before we even went up there, I was like, I didn't hear a lot of commotion coming from coming from my building. to the meetup point.
Yeah. And you're probably wondering, did anybody have class at that time? There was some so when we got an official date approved for that, that day a lot of classes should have been canceled. However, that didn't happen. So although a lot of students did show up, there was a lot of students that skipped class to go to this protest. There were some teachers. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to y'all. Shout out to the teachers that canceled fucking class on April 21st, 2021. So your students can make their fucking voice heard by attending this protest. Like, you got some teachers, like even one of my teachers, shout out to her as well, has said, look, this is like, you can come if you want to, but if you're going to the protest, just shoot me an email and your excuse, like, mind you, all the black studies history teachers, oh, they said they either cancel or gave y'all an option to miss class. Just you gotta tell them so you won't get in trouble. And there was some other classes that canceled so they can show up. There was faculty members that wound up coming in and missing half of their shift so they can come to this protest. We had alumni show up. We had half of the sports team showed up from the basketball team. Unfortunately, we didn't have football at our school. Shocker. Basketball team, soccer, rowing. It was
insane.
It was a lot. And then when I saw Jeff and his crew, his photography class come in, mind you, his teacher, shout out to her, by the way, was just so astonished and excited because she dedicated her entire project on this protest because of Jeff's influence. Like, she legit said to her classmates, it was like, you know what, let's help Jeff with his project. She made her entire class come together. And not only that, it was kind of a favor. It was kind of like her giving back to me and Jeff for, Jeff asking me to come and take pictures. And, like, he staged that connection between me and her. And for that, my brother, thank you. Yeah, and first thing she saw was me. She was like, "Oh, look, it's so." I was like, "Look, thank you and all, but I'm in protest mode right now, and I'm trying to, like, I don't want to sound like I'm only doing this for the cameras. Not like I'm not like, that's not the type of person I am. Like, yeah, they asked me to take a couple pictures. I said sure, but I gotta get back to it." So, and mind you, it was for Jeff's project, so I just did it. And a lot of people, it was just pictures after pictures, and Jeff had to take recordings, and everybody took recordings. So the moment the time began, and our dearest friend, I can't say her name, but we love you, girl. The moment she gave me that go ahead to make that horn, it was it from there. It was like a scene of it was like a cutscene of a video game. Like, 1 minute is full screen, next thing you know, it turns to it just turns to like movie theater mode. And you got Jeff here with his whole documentary crew directing, along with his teacher directing everybody to, go to this way, go to that way, while myself and other people are like directing the protest and all that, like going downhill, like going down with everything. And we started walking, and then we started chanting. Then next thing you know, we hear the sounds of anger and potential violence.
Oh, girl. Oh, Lord, tell me about it.
So we turned around and we realized, you remember that kid we talked about in the beginning? He showed up holding a Blue Lives Matter flag. during a Black Lives Matter protest, and it was not the best. But we had everybody focused, and shout out to Jeff's teacher for making sure that nobody recorded that student that's really wanting attention.
Your 15 minutes of fame are over,
But
pal. Your
what?
15 minutes of fame are over.
Yeah, and nobody taped him or nothing. Like the closest thing everybody had of him was like pictures from Snapchat, Instagram, and all that. That's them. That's everybody's right to do that. But for Jeff's class, he made sure that no one took pictures of that. And other than that, like, yeah, you see stuff like that would happen during a protest, especially during the campuses. And if you are protesting at the PWI, here's another tip: do not react negatively, because it defeats your purpose. And you're giving some of these people, a way to prove the point, saying, yeah, never give these people a chance to protest. Like, don't let them silence your voice. And then after that circus show disappeared, we went back to it, and it was just like a scene from a movie. And if you want to check out the protest, we're going to put the link in our description, that you can check it out as well. You can also hear Jeff in the beginning of the video chanting with us. You see, even when he is doing something for his education, he will never fail to let us know that he is a part of this protest.
It was a pride.
Well.
It was something very near and dear to my heart. So I wanted to get involved with the protest, and I still got to get my degree and provide for my education, and also get my work, and I got to have fun with it.
Yeah, mind you, whole time during the protest, we had one person who was social media coordinator, because it was me and another person. We both had the same position. So I was leading the protest while they were recording the Instagram live version of the protest. So we had multiple videos. So we had multiple ways of people recording. Some were going on live, some were in Jeff's photography group, and some were just taking videos and pictures of it, taking pictures with their phones, and it got a lot of attention. Even like, wasn't the newspaper group there as well? Yeah, it was on the newspaper. That's how serious it was.
Oh yeah.
There wasn't a protest like this since 2017. This was big.
That's true.
And after, when we was like, it was some point during our protest, another sports team had joined. It was a baseball team that had came in. Like, yeah, they were late. It was like, we're not missing this. And they came. It was students that had came and jumped in with us. There were students, in their dorms who couldn't be there because of class, and they were banging the windows in support, chanting with us, recording, getting involved as well, despite the fact that their teachers didn't refuse to let them go.
For real.
Like, come on. And some faculty members, they were like joining in support, and it was just a huge moment in our school's history. And it was history that happened in schools before that. There was a lot of protests that happened in HBCUs, other PWIs, like. And then I remember this movie that was made by the great Spike Lee, School Dazed, and this man, like the main character in the beginning, I forgot his name, but he had staged a protest at the beginning. He continued to keep going despite the fact that the school was trying to silence him. And at the end, he wound up getting the protest. He wound up staging a protest and telling the whole world to wake up.
Mm-hmm.
Spike Lee knew exactly what he'd be doing. He'd be making these movies, and ironically, our school was offering a class called Spike Lee's America. And when I said that was the most beneficial class ever, it was the most beneficial because I learned a lot from that class, watching movies such as Clockers or uh shit. There's like so many Clockers. Do the right thing. School Days. It's just like now, like looking at Spike Lee's movies, he's basically communicating a message, and you have to decipher it. Similar to Jordan Peele's Noob and Get Out, and Us, and there's always a message. You just gotta look at it, and when you see shit differently, when you're woke, it's different now.
Oh yeah, that's right.
And after that protest, me and Jeff, we wind up making a short film called Embracing Justice, and I'm gonna let director Williams here.
Well,
I'm gonna let.
I tell you, I get tired of talking about this film. So basically, I create a film on racism and then Black Lives Matter. Where a black guy is getting harassed by a white guy, and he's debating on, and he wants to kill him. He's debating on whether he wants to or not. He talks to a friend, and he eventually comes to terms and chooses not to let him win.
Oh, Jeffrey, where can we find such documentary? Such
short film.
Where can we find the film? Yes, again, click on the link in the description to check out Jeff's Embracing Justice film on his YouTube channel, and keep a lookout because there's some new content coming out. I heard our friend Jeff here is starting to level up.
The videos videos in the future we're gonna worry about. I'm gonna take it back from where it all began with photography. But I'll be on YouTube pretty soon. Don't you worry about that.
And if you guys want to book with Jeff for your events, again, click on the link on his social media and follow his photography account and book with him. He takes some good pictures, and again, he directed a short film that got a lot of people talking and became very well known at our campus. And again, just watching the protests and the short film, if you are thinking about staging a protest, whether if it's inside or outside a campus, or if you're especially if you're attending a PWI, or if you're staging a public protest, again, when you listen to this podcast and watch the videos, you can actually learn something new and can help save your ass
out here giving y'all something to think about.
Yep. Other than that, if you guys love the episode, make sure you like, share, and subscribe. And again, drop in the comments what's the next topic we should talk about. And again, check out our social media and be on the lookout for on our Instagram stories. We could send a questionnaire asking you guys what should be the next topic. And again, click on the link to our Google form. Your story needs to be heard. Until then, this is Mani. Oh my goodness, Jeff, that was your part. Usually, I was saying this is Mani and I'm Jeff, and then I was gonna end up with signing off. Oh my god! All right, take two. Until then, other than that, this is Mani
signing off.
Signing off.